Yo, what's up? It's Dr. BE the second. That means Doctor becoming excellent the second, because Jesus was the first to become excellent, and now I'm following in his footsteps. So, just a little intro. Got a little something tonight from church that I wanted to share. And Mark chapter 2, verses 1 through 12 is what I'm basing off of. And if you don't know the passage or what the passage is about, I'm just going to go ahead and share it briefly with you what it's about. I'm trying to get my page up to where I wrote all my notes down. So my pastor was speaking on what the second chapter of Mark is about. The beginning of it, verses 1 through 12, which is what he preached out of tonight, was that the four of a kind always beats a full house. So there was a full house of people, but the four of a kind went out. And so while he was speaking, I began to feel something in my spirit begin to churn and begin to. I felt like God was giving me something then, so I just began typing it down and just frantically putting this in my phone while listening. But I was just began frantically wanting to get this information down because it hit me like a stone. And so, what I want to go off of, what I want to tell you guys about, put out there, it's the people in the line, their hunger, the hunger of the people in the line is greater than the people at the table. What I mean by that is whenever you've went to a restaurant and there's been a waiting line, or you've had to get one of those buzzers and wait for your table, wait for your food, wait for it. The people in the line are hungrier than the people sitting at the table. See, when you get to a restaurant and you have to wait, your hunger begins to grow and it begins to multiply because you're seeing the food, you smell the food, you're at the restaurant, you're ready to eat. You're ready to pay for this food that you're getting, and you're paying a price for, and you know what you're getting. Or maybe you're trying something new and you don't know what you're getting, but you see somebody's plate, and you want that food, and you want what they got. And you want that. You're like, I really, really want to try that. I really want to go for that. So your hunger begins to develop. You begin to develop a taste for that hunger and for that food, and you really, really want that food. Like you're thinking about coming back again, maybe after you try it, if you like it, for that same food. So your hunger is greater than the person who's sitting at the table who's already eating the food. And our relationship with God, your relationship with God, needs to be like that. You need to have the in-line, waiting hunger. See, too many times we sit down at the table and we want to eat off the table and we want to eat off this plate, but is the food actually good for you? Is it going to benefit you? What do you have on your food? What do you have on your plate? Do you have Snapchat? Do you have a dating app? Do you have a social media app? Do you have music that isn't godly? Do you have distractions on your plate? Like the food that is on your plate, it's not just regular food, it's spiritual food. You have to break your food down into a metabolical process to where you have to do what your body does. So when you intake food in your body digests it in the way that it needs to. Your spiritual body is the same way. So whatever you put into your spiritual body is going to come out of you spiritually. So what are you putting into your life that is feeding you spiritually? See, people in the line are hungry for something, and they're hungry for what you're eating, but what is it that you're eating that you're showing them? What is the biggest part on your plate? Is it this lustfully, godly, awesomely looking dessert? And they really, really want that sweet brownie that you got on your plate that looks just gooey enough. It's not hard. It's not too soft. It's melt in your mouth, really awesome brownie. Or your favorite dessert. Maybe it's ice cream. It's not too cold to give you brain freeze, but it's just cool enough to be ice cream to cool you off. And they see that. And they think that's really good for them, but in truth, what if that was the social media app that you use constantly? What if that was the Tinder app that you're on constantly? What if that's Snapchat that you're on constantly? What if it's the game that's taking your relationship with God away constantly, but they don't know that until they sit down at the table and they begin eating the food and they enjoy it so much, then they realize that that food's not good for them. Now they wish that they were still in line, hungry for food. Or maybe you've got something good that's on your plate, that's a steak, and it's really, really good. It's so tender, it's so juicy, it's the perfect shade of red or pink or black or whatever, however you like your steak. It's that shade, and it's just for you, and you love that steak, and that steak is so good, and it's so juicy and so tender, and you love that steak, and they want some of that steak too, and that steak is actually good for you. And that steak is the Word of God, but there's more ice cream on your plate than there is steak. Like you only had one piece of steak, but you keep going back and you keep revisiting that ice cream cone section because you want some sprinkles to add onto that ice cream. You want some toppings to go on it. You want some gummy bears. You want some nuts. You want some chocolate. You want some caramel. And before you know it, what turned from social media into a little app that didn't hurt you at all has turned into something that's really killing you inside. You think, oh, it's no big deal. But every time you get on that app, you keep going back to that one page. And that page takes you further. And that page takes you further. And then you're doing something that you shouldn't be doing. But they don't know that yet. They're just hungry. And see, our relationship with God needs to become that way. See, let me get on my notes here. They want the food more than you do because they have to wait longer, so the hunger grows more. They don't know when they will get to eat, what food they will get, or how it will be. All they know is that they want what you got. So the real question is the food you're eating worth getting? Is worth them waiting for? Are you eating God's fruit? Or are you eating lustfully off the devil's lies and passion fruit? Is what you got good enough? Is what you got worth their hunger or worth sharing with someone else? The people in line want what's good, and they want your plate, and they are willing to get up, and they're waiting for you to get up so they can sit down. The reason their hunger is bigger than yours is because you got what they want to eat. But was your meal worth having? Was your meal healthy? Or was it deadly? The line is always hungrier than the people at the table. It's a thin. I think it's time to start a line waiting for the seat at the table of God. So our hunger grows for God. We want what is on Jesus' plate, which is good fruit, which is good food that is healthy. And when someone sees that food that God gives you is worth them eating of. So guys, what do you have on your plate? What are you eating? Or are you in line waiting? See, I want to develop a relationship with God to where I'm in the waiting. I want to be in the waiting. I'm waiting for eternity. Like, that's my goal. Like, I know where I'm going. I know how I'm getting there. Like, I know I'm going to heaven, and I know Jesus is getting me there. Because He died for my sins and He saved me, so I'm going to heaven. And I know what waits for me there. But I want that plate that's in Jesus' lap, because He said He would prepare a table in the presence of thine enemies. So I know that there's a plate waiting for me up there, but what's going to be on that plate defines my hunger. See, I want more of God, so I hunger for more of Him. But once I get that more of Him, once I sit down and I start indulging in that hunger, I may lose it because I get full. I may lose it because I may put something on my plate that distracts me or gets me clouded. But if I stay in line and I stay in waiting for the plate and I stay there, the hunger, or I sit down and I eat, I fill up. But then I turn back around and I get back in that line and I keep rotating. So I get hungry for God, eat on what good God has for me, and then I get back in line. See, the four friends that dropped the guy off in the roof into the floor, they did that so that when they dropped their friend in, the only way their friend was going to get out was if someone else took him out, or if their faith accomplished what they wanted, him being killed. So, in saying that, it's retrospect. You know, they dropped him down so that the only way he could leave was out the front door. He couldn't come back up. They weren't going to lift that back up, but they just dropped him through the roof. Instead of raising the roof, they dropped through it. And so, is your hunger, is your plate, is your food that you have on your plate worth someone eating? Or do you need that hunger back to where you need to get up from the plate, let someone else eat from it, and get back in line and grow that hunger? I love you guys. God bless.